Hi everybody, this is Osprey from MyChartCoach.com, and in this video we're going to take a look at some of the crypto stocks. Okay, in this video all the stocks are Bitcoin blockchain related. Okay, so first up we're going to take a look at ticker symbol MARA. As you can see here, it closed up 26%. Yeah, this was a big move, so congrats to everybody in the chat. I know lots of people were loading this, and yeah, it turned out to be a really nice close. You can see here it closed at 193. You have RSI here at 63, so it still has room to run until that 70 overbought level. Fasto did close at 98.81, so it is frothy on that close. If you notice here, it closed today's candle. It closed near high of day, and when that happens, the Fasto gets maxed out. If you look here at ADX, you can see plus DI is pushing, and then you have minus DI, the red line, starting to cross the black line to the downside. So that's signaling, you know, that the bulls are taking over. And so what we were looking for today was a close above this green line. That's the 50-day simple moving average at 176. At the end of day there, it really pushed above that level, and we wanted to see a close above to signal more upside potential, and people were buying heavy into the close. Ended up pushing it all the way up near high of day. And so going forward, the key is going to be to stay above that green line. If it can hold that 50-day simple moving average, the next two levels to break are going to be up here, the red line, which is the 200-day simple moving average at 223, and then the blue line, which is the 300-day simple moving average at 241. And so notice that's lining up with this high close from over here on the 12th of March. And so you're looking for a run up to that level. Now, if it could bust through that, then you'd be looking at the 100-day simple moving average at 294. Now, MARA is on a 3-day run, and as you can see, looking at the last couple of months, it's pretty rare for it to be on a multi-day run. You can see it ran for 4 days here earlier, and so just keep that in mind. It is already on a multi-day run, so you have to be careful chasing. If it does pull back, like I said, as long as that support level holds, the uptrend should continue. Now let's take a look here at the MARA weekly chart, and you can see this week it's breaking out above this pink and lime lines. That's the EMAs 4 and 8, and so a weekly close above both levels would be bullish. Back here on the second week of April, it closed above EMA 4. It held that level last week, and so now it's been turning that level into support, and now it's breaking out above EMA 8. The last close above EMA 8 was way back here on the second week of January. So this is signaling a bullish change in trend. What you're looking for now is a close above this green line. If it can close above the 50-week moving average for the week, 207, that would be super bullish. Okay, if that level that would be like this candle over here, and if that level turned into support, what you're looking for is a move up to that middle Bollinger Band at 266. Once that middle Bollinger Band, which is also the 20-week moving average, turns into support, a new uptrend can begin. Check out the dots. That's PSAR. SAR stands for stop and reverse. Once the candles hit that level, the dots will flip below the candles. Okay, so let's take a look at the MARA 15-minute chart. And as you can see here, this was a chart that we posted at end of day in the chat, and what we were looking for was for the share price to stay above 174. That's because it was the opening price, the closing price on the opening candle of the day. You could see that lines up right with 174, and so what we were looking for was a break above. You know, put the alert out when this candle was forming. You know, when it was breaking through here, and so the nice thing is that it held, and then bam, it just really got cooking there into the close. Look at all the volume that poured in, pushing it well above that upper Bollinger Band. If the candles do work back into the bands, what you want to see is EMA 4 hold. That's 181. You know, you can see the candles were holding as they're pushing higher. If it drops below 181, you could see that 174 tested. It needs to stay above 174 now to break out higher. Okay, let's take a look at some other stocks to keep an eye on that are in, you know, Bitcoin blockchain related. Okay, I'm going to show you RIOT here, ticker symbol RIOT, closed up nearly 16%. I know that you know, most people think this is a scam, but it is heating up. And if RSI can get above 50, that would be bullish. As you can see, it keeps trying to break 50 and it can't get above. Fasto's heating up at 63. You have a bullish crossover here on ADX with plus DI crossing minus DI to the upside. And so down here, the middle Bollinger Band is starting to turn into support. That's 684. If that level can hold, that's going to be super bullish. And what we're looking for is a break above that blue line line. That's the 300-day simple moving average at 793. If it can close above that level, that's going to be the sign that it's finally heating up. Then you'd be looking for a run up there to that 50-day simple moving average at 894. It failed to get above the 300-day simple moving average the last time it tested that level, and so as you can see here, this is the top of the current channel. You can see it's been channeling out here, and 770 here where it hit was the high close. And so if it can break above, that's going to signal it wants to head higher. If it drops back below the middle Bollinger Band, that's going to signal more consolidation. It has to stay above 684. Okay, keep an eye on TEUM. Okay, it closed up nearly 7.5% today when the markets were getting crushed. You have RSI at 59, and so it's in the bull zone. You have Fasto at 91. So basically, this has been turning the middle Bollinger Band into support. Okay, so if the middle Bollinger Band holds down here at 244, that'll signal the uptrend's intact. And what it needs to break now is the bottom of the gap. There's a gap between low of day on this candle and high of day on this candle, and so a close above the bottom of the gap would be very bullish. You'd be looking for a gap fill. Okay, a run up here to about 305 would fill the gap. And then now keep in mind the bottom of the gap level is always tough to break, and so if it does find resistance, it could take a breather. If it busts through and it fills the gap, what you're looking for is a run up here to this recent high close, which is up here around 335. Okay, so keep an eye on TEUM. We're going to see if it can break the bottom of the gap. Another one to keep an eye on is DPW. You can see down here they pulled it back after this huge volume. It had a couple big volume spikes there, and then they walked it back. And notice that each of the green volume bars, a black candle formed. So they've been holding it back. The market makers are doing their thing. Maybe there's there's probably some dilution going on. And what it needs to do here is it needs to hold the middle Bollinger Band at 95, which has been holding, and it needs to get back above this 300-day simple moving average at 111. Okay, close above that level is going to be your signal it's heating up, and then you have the 50-day simple moving average at 123. Notice that each of these black candles here, these two black candles, they broke above that green line intraday, but they closed below. The bottom of the black candle is the close. So once you get a close above that 50-day simple moving average, that's going to be your big signal that DPW is heating up. The big volume down here is a clue. It just has to hold that 95 level. Now, if it broke below that middle Bollinger Band, the downside risk is that it comes down here and it fills the gap between high of day on this candle and low of day on this candle, and hits that 85 level. Okay, let's look at NETE. Keep an eye on this one. It's similar to DPW in the sense that they drove it up and they pulled it back, and then now it's trying to break out higher. As you can see here, this is this little channel that it had, this little zone that it was trading in. And then today it closed above high close horizontal resistance, which was the closing price right here in this candle. So that close above is signaling more upside potential. It's not the prettiest candle today, but it is holding EMA 4 at 926. As long as that level's holding, it does signal more upside potential. Look for a break above 1025 next. That would be the key level to break. And then you want to see this 1050 is going to be big, $12. And then up here at 1350. Okay, let's look at NXTD. Okay, keep an eye on this one. It looks like it's setting up here. Check out the Bollinger Bands. Okay, so this is the lower Bollinger Band at 183, the upper Bollinger Band up here at 204. That's also lined up with the 200-day simple moving average at 207. Notice how right now it's hitting the middle Bollinger Band and the 300-day simple moving average. That's the blue line there. Currently at 197. If it can break above that level, that'd be super bullish. You could see here how tight this trading range has been. Okay, so you have the bottom of the current channel is down here. Around that 182 mark, and then the top of the current channel is right here. Okay, just above $2, and so you can see all these candles have been forming in that level. I mean, the volume has been super low. So what you're looking for now, if you're a bull, is a volume spike, and then you want to see a push through resistance. So NXTD trading above $2 would be bullish. It does have to get through 207, and then you could see a run up to the 50 and 100-day simple moving averages up in that 220 to 230 zone. Okay, keep an eye on GROW, grow. Okay, it's up. It up slightly. It only traded 129,000 shares. You know, it does have RSI and Fasto in the bull zone. What you want to see on ADX here is that green line crossing over the black and the red line to the upside. And so very similar to the other stocks, you know, this is kind of what they did with the marijuana sector as well. You know, they pulled them back and consolidated. And so when that happens, you know, you're looking for support to hold and a break back above resistance. And so right now, as long as it holds this middle Bollinger Band and 200-day simple moving average down here around 280, then that signals the uptrend's intact. And then what it needs to do is break that green line there, the 50-day simple moving average at $3. So above $3 would be bullish for the stock. And then the current high close is right here around 314. That's the bottom of this candle. If you see a break above 314, that's going to be your signal. Okay, ROW is ready to head higher. Only 129,000 shares traded, but you can see here it has had some volume spikes. So look for an increase in volume. Okay, keep an eye on SRAX, another one that has very low volume, only 156,000 shares. Look how they walked this thing down. You know, they all had the same pattern. They walked them up and then they walked them down. And so right now it's hitting key support. That 50-day simple moving average at 431 is the reload zone if support zones holds. A big if. If support broke and it dropped below 431, there's downside risk. It could come down here and test that 200-day simple moving average at 359. Now to the upside, if it can break above that 100-day simple moving average, the gold line at 478, that would be really bullish, and you'd be looking for it to work its way back up to the recent high close, which is up here around 520. So you could see they ran it up from down here, and then you know, they had the big run, they pulled it back, and see, that would be good too. You know, from a Fibonacci retrace perspective, if it didn't fully retrace back down to 380, the start of the run, you know, if it held right here, that would be a nice pullback, and then it could launch to the next level. Okay, let's look at INPX. Closed up 3% today. Yeah, this is a really ugly chart, right? I mean, it's a beautiful chart if you're short. You know, if you shorted from up here at $10, $11, and now it's down here at 40 cents, you're loving life, right? But if you're long, this is just not the kind of stock chart that you want to be trading. Okay, but we'll keep an eye on it. If you notice here that there's this gap, there was a gap down, so there's a space between low of day on this candle and high of day on this candle. So if it worked its way back up to 48, that would fill the gap. Okay, so EMA 4 is the key level to break. You know, this could get a dead cat bounce, stay in this bearish downtrend, but you could still make some money trading it if you timed it correctly. So it'd have to get above the top of the gap and EMA 4 at 48, and you could see a run up there to the EMA 8 at 61. You know, 40 to 61, that's some nice percentage gains, but keep in mind, this is a deadly chart. It's been in a very bearish downtrend, and so if EMA 4 remains resistance, it will signal more downside risk. And keep in mind, holding anything long that's forming candles below EMA 4 on the daily chart is a risk to hold. Okay, let's look at KODK. Okay, when is this thing going to get moving? It's at 490 right now. We have all you know, Bitcoin's running, all the you know, Bitcoin's above 9,000. It's testing to possibly drop below that tonight, but we had all the altcoins running. You know, keep in mind the altcoins are looking frothy. You know, so like you know, if you look at the altcoin charts and Bitcoin, you know, they're all hitting key resistance levels right now. So, you know, you might not want to chase. You might want to wait for a dip. You know, you would think that would happen. It might not. But yeah, you know, looking at the altcoin charts, it looks like a lot are looking super frothy at the current time. But right now we're focused on these crypto stocks. And, you know, if you take a look at KODK here, you know, they have their altcoin. You know, this is just channeled out sideways. You know, nobody's winning trading this thing. You know, they're just you know, moving it nowhere, and so what you have to do is pretty much just wait for a break above resistance. I mean, you know, you could try to load on the break above the middle Bollinger Band the next time that happens. That's at $5 again. It's $5 has just been an ongoing theme for this, but notice that each time it gets above the $5 level or above the middle Bollinger Band level, it fails to hold. Each of these attempts to stay above the dotted purple line have failed. Once it finally stays above that level, that's going to be a signal it's ready to go, and then you might want to just wait for a break above above 550. Once it gets above that 100-day simple moving average, if it could turn that level into support, then it could possibly get going and run up to that 200-day simple moving average. Yeah, it's just a matter of whether or not you want to deal with this sideways channel. If you look, if you look at the Bollinger Bands are getting very tight. You have the lower Bollinger Band down here at 476 and the upper Bollinger Band at 525. You know, since this has been consolidating, this is the tightest that the Bollinger Bands have been. Tight Bollinger Bands signal that a move is coming soon, and it's either going to be a break below support. If it drops below 476, that's going to signal downside risk, and if it breaks above 525, that's going to signal upside potential. So, you know, if you see a 525, 535, 550 breaking above those levels, that's going to be, you know, could be, you know, it should be the signal that it's ready to head higher. You never know. It has to bust through the top of this channel. It has to get through this 535 level, turn it into support, and then that should be the clue that at least it can get a run going. Okay, let's look at Gbtc. This is Bitcoin Investment Trust. This follows Bitcoin's movement. I keep posting and it keeps heading higher. It closed up nearly 11%. RSI at 66. Notice Fasto's at 100, so it's super maxed. You know, they're pushing this thing hard because Bitcoin's been running, but it is coming up to a key resistance level. The 100-day simple moving average at 1754. That's the next key level to break. Notice today's candle is floating above the upper Bollinger Band. There is lots of gaps. You know, it could you know, fill the gap below here. You know, gaps on this chart, though, you can't really pay as much attention to because it's following Bitcoin's movement, but there are some gaps. You know, there's a gap here, and then there's a gap down here. I mean, there's multiple gaps, you know, so you have a gap here, and then you have a gap down here. So it's been just pushing hard, right? If it drops all the way down to 1476 and formed a solid candle, that would fill all the gaps. Just to throw that out there. But the bottom line is you want to see this 50-day simple moving average hold at 1454. You want to see candles continue riding 1540 if you're a bull, and then you want to see a break above that 100-day simple moving average at 1754. If that level fails to break, and it could signal a possible temporary top, and you could see it pull back to test that 50-day simple moving average. And finally, take a look at Global Blockchain Technologies, ticker symbol BLKCF. It had a nice day today. It closed up 26%. It also has RSI hitting 69, Fasto at 88. So it's been pushing here as well. The next two levels to break are the 100 and 200-day simple moving averages. If you see it close above 56 and turn that level to support, that's going to signal upside potential. If it hits those levels and pulls back, what you want to see is the 50-day simple moving average at 385 and the 300-day simple moving average at 41 hold. As long as it's staying above that 300-day simple moving average, that is going to signal upside potential. It just has to break through resistance. Notice down here how volume has been increasing. Okay, yeah, so keep an eye on the Bitcoin blockchain related stocks. You know, the sector has been moving. There are quite a few over-the-counter stocks that have made really good runs, much better runs than most of these big board stocks. So I highly recommend checking out the over-the-counter stocks. We discussed these in the chat, and we have a Bitcoin blockchain crypto stock board where I post charts and technical analysis on. Okay, thanks for viewing this video.